Hey guys, what's going on? Kel back once again, bringing you another Warhammer 40,000 news article straight from the Warhammer 40,000 community page representing the 40k YouTube channel. Hi guys, hope everyone's okay. I've just finished doing a video about the new Strategic Reserves rules. As I've been waiting to edit that, this little beauty has come on, which is another faction focus, and today it's all about the Astra Militarum. If you're new to the channel, this is 40k. We post Warhammer 40,000 content every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, just like this. If you like Warhammer 40,000, things like news, reviews, hints, tips and tricks, painting videos, and battle reports, please subscribe to the channel. It's only a small channel, but it's growing day by day, and we would love to have you along for the ride. And if you do subscribe and we get to see your name, me and Carl will give you a shout out in the videos. Thanks to everyone who's done that and subscribed up to now. Thank you very much, guys. Massively appreciated. But without further ado, we'll get straight in the video and a faction focus all about the Astra Militarum. So the Astra Militarum are on parade today, and it's time for their faction focus to tell us how they will fight in the new edition of Warhammer 40,000. What's more, we're joined by playtester Rhys Robbins, who'll be giving us a rundown of what Imperial Guard armies of the future may look like. Let's take a look. But we always start with a picture there. I mean, the Imperial Guard it's just loads of tanks, loads of cheap infantry. For an Imperial Guard army, you can get so many models on the board. And I guarantee the biggest benefit for the Imperial Guard come 9th edition is the ability to shoot all those heavy Lehman Russ battle tank cannons into close combat. Guaranteed. So who are they? The Astra Militarum are the unsung heroes of the Imperium. Without these inexhaustible armies of the God Emperor's realm, who would have succumbed to the endless cycle of war and death millennia ago? Almost every world in the Imperium is tasked with raising an Imperial Guard regiment, not only to protect their home world, but to travel to war zones across the breadth of the galaxy, fighting all manner of alien horrors and dread heretics. Against such terrible foes, courage and faith is their only shield, yet they march dauntlessly from one battle to the next without complaint, lest they receive a bullet from their regimental commissar. Yet the Astra Militarum have one distinct advantage over every foe they face: numbers. Be it rank after rank of disciplined soldiery or mighty armoured columns of battle tanks and heavy artillery, there is little the Imperial Guard cannot grind down through the relentless application of jovial warfare. And there we've got some guard members led by a commissar. I think that's a Dominus from the what do you call them? The name's gone out of them. The guys from Mars. Come on, Martin. Well, what are they? Come on, Kel. The Adeptus Mechanicus, yeah. and a big knight in the background. Quality picture, that I like that. And we start with the morale phase. Whilst on the topic of commissars, we thought we'd take a closer look at the new rules for the morale phase before we go any further. Morale affects every warring faction, from the most stalwart Space Marines to the most cowardly Grot. In the new edition, the morale phase has undergone a subtle change with a big impact. We've got combat attrition. Okay, the process for a morale test works the same way as before. So basically, on a morale test, you roll a d6 plus the number of destroyed models that you had in that turn. Unmodified rolls of 1 is always a success, no model flees. If a morale test exceeds unit leadership, 1 model flees, and other models must take combat attrition tests. The difference is what happens when you fail your morale test. You make a separate combat attrition roll for each model in the unit, meaning that any number of them, or if you're lucky, none of them, may also flee. What's more, the morale of a heavily depleted squad will already be wavering due to the losses they suffered. So units that are below half strength suffer a penalty to the command attrition rolls. Okay, interesting. So command attrition tests. Roll 1d6 for each remaining model in the unit. For each one additional model flees. Okay. Subtract 1 from the combat attrition tests if the unit is below half strength. Okay. Interesting. So that means they could run away on twos? Ones and twos? That's interesting. So it's like a mechanic within a mechanic, really. Sort of, you've made the morale test, and someone may have ran, but you've got to do one for each individual model. Interesting. With this change to morale tests, any abilities that help mitigate further losses from combat attrition can be incredibly valuable. For example, a commissar's summary execution rule means that a nearby Astra Militarum unit that fails the morale test has a much better chance of avoiding this eventuality. Summary execution. The first time an Astra Militarum unit fails a morale test during the morale phase within 6 inches of friendly commissars, you can execute a model. Alright. If you do, one model of your choice in that unit is slain and the morale test is re-rolled. Do not include the slain model when re-rolling the morale test. That's cool. So not only have they failed, the commissar's going to shoot one in the back of the head and make them roll it again. That's quality. I love little things like that. I think they're cracking little rules, stuff like that. So how will they play in the new edition? The regiments of the Astra Militarum are as varied as the million worlds of the Imperium. So for this bit, we needed an expert. Someone within the strategic genius of Osaka E. Creed and the outreach skill of Jar and Kel. Oh look, Jar and Kel. It's Kel. It's not me, it's different Kel. We needed Reese Robertson. Thankfully, Frontline Gaming Guru and the official playtester Reese was more than willing to help us out. So over to the man himself, and Reese starts with the Astra Militarum are set to crush the new edition of Warhammer 40,000. The changes to vehicles via the big guns never tire rule will make the iconic battle tanks more dependable than ever and able to peel those pesky infantry units off via the medium of point-blank firepower. To let the cannons sing. Remember to use this amazing Hail the Fire stratagem from slightly awaiting the greater good to maximise the firepower of your Lehman Russ, as I said before. So for 2 CP, you can use something called Hail the Fire. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase. When a Lehman Russ model from your army is chosen to shoot with, until the end of that phase, when resolve an attack made with a weapon by the model against a vehicle unit, do not roll to determine the type of characteristic of that weapon. It has the maximum value, e.g. a heavy D6 weapon makes 6 shots. That's mental. Especially for like a Lehman Russ battle tank. That's going to just pulverise enemy vehicles into the dirt. Oh, I knew they would get something, but that's tasty, man. Likewise, one of my favourite units to use for grabbing objective, Scout Sentinels with the heavy flamers can literally fire away even if it advances or is engaged in melee. Their pre-game movement and stratagems like Go Recon make them fantastic for scooping up victory points in missions in which points are scored at the end of each player's turn. And we have Go Recon, cost 1 CP. Use a stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Select a unit of Scout Sentinels from your army. That unit can immediately move 2d6, but cannot shoot or charge in this turn. Okay, so it's a great way. I mean, fair enough, you don't get to shoot, but in a lot of games in 8th edition, and I think this is going to be even more so in 9th edition, board control will be everything. If you prefer armoured sentinels, remember that you can use the deft manoeuvring stratagem from the greater good to halve the damage the unit takes to ensure they hold onto those key objectives. So deft manoeuvring for 1 CP. Use the stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase. When an armoured sentinels unit from your army is chosen as the target of an attack, until the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made against that unit, half any damage inflicted rounded up. Okay, so you're getting to push them further up the board, hound up the board, and they can take less wounds. Cool, makes sense, I like it. Hopefully some of these ideas will inspire you to roll out your guard and join the good fight against the enemies of the Imperium. But what about key units? Reitz isn't done yet. He's also got some thoughts on 3 units that he suspects will really come into their own in the new edition, as well as some combinations that you can use to make them even more effective. And here we have the Hellhound. Hellhound is like a a fire-based top tank. Been around for a while. Could really do with a revamp, actually. But it's a very good tank. Ray says, the Hellhound, one of my all-time favourite tanks, is now a lot easier to use effectively, as the ability to fire into combat is very useful for them, particularly against large units of infantry. With the splash damage stratagem, they can easily overcome units in cover, taking advantage of the new terrain traits too. So for 1 CP, you can apply splash damage. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase when a Hellhound model from your army is chosen to shoot with, until the end of that phase, when a resolving attack made with the Chem Cannon, Inferno Cannon, or Melter Cannon by the model against the unit that is receiving the benefit of cover, you can re-roll the wound rolls. So that's cool. I'm guessing that the Chem Cannon and Inferno Cannon are going to be like auto-hitting weapons. So you're going to get the number of hits. I'm not sure what the strength is, but anytime you get to re-roll hits, anytime you get to re-roll wound rolls is not to be sniffed at. And for 1 CP, it's really good. And we've got the Bulgrins, which are like kind of ogres with just ridiculously large shields and cannons. I love these guys. They're like, I would love to get some of these and modify them for like a D&D campaign. That would be sweet. Ray says, the mighty Bulgrins, easily one of my top units in the game, are still just as meaty as they were and able to plaster enemy units with their mauls whilst also taking a beating, making use of their take cover stratagem for +1 to their saving throws. And if you have an Astra Militarum Psychic in your army, the Psychic Barrier power can make them absolute beefcakes. So we have number 3 here, which is Psychic Barrier. Psychic Barrier has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select as friendly Astra Militarum unit within 12 inches of the Psychic. Until the start of your next Psychic phase, add 1 to the unit's saving throws. So, yeah, if you're going to get +1 to your cover save, like I said before, and you're going to get another +1 here, they could be saving on things like 3s or 2s. I'm not quite sure. But that's interesting. Like I say, you can make them nice and beefy, tank those big hits, keep them going. And we've got the Wyvern. Weird looking tank, this. Weird looking tank, but the Astra Militarum is very tank heavy. Reese says the Wyvern will be even more a menace to hordes of light infantry with a new rule for blast weapons. You can get a whopping 24 shots with a direct onslaught stratagem for a +1 bonus to hit rolls. The Wyvern can cause absolute devastation in short order. So we've got the Wyvern Quad Storm Shard Mortar, 40-inch range, heavy 4d6 shots. Ooh, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage each. This weapon can target units that are not visible to the bearer. You can re-roll failed wound rolls for this weapon. That's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Anytime you get the wound roll re-roll for free, just because it's a weapon quality, I like that. That's a very, very powerful skill. Like I said above, especially against Horde armies coming in 9th edition. Thanks, Reese. We are looking to grind your foes into the dirt beneath the treads of your mighty battle tanks or overwhelm them with unstoppable volleys and heavy weapons fire. Maybe both. In any case, let us know how you plan to use your Astra Militarum in the new edition of Warhammer 40,000 on the Facebook page, Instagram, and on Twitter using #new40k. But as we often say here on 40k, don't do that. Don't go and leave your comments over there. Leave your comments here with us, because we read them all the time and we respond to every single comment we get. If you're still here to the end, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button if you like the video, and more importantly, subscribe. Help support the channel. We put out Warhammer 40,000 content every single day, just like this. Every time some news, reviews and tips comes up, we'll be there to make a video for you guys to watch and make it a bit easier for you. Okay? So thank you very much for watching. Leave some comments below. What do you think, guys? Any Astra Militarum players out there? Any Imperial Guard players out there looking forward to getting those Leman Russ battle tanks into close combat and just annihilating things come 9th edition? Leave some comments, and me and Cole would love to hear from you. But this is Kel signing out for 40k. As always, stay safe, look after yourselves, and until next time, guys, we'll see you later.